Hey, good morning. I had a couple of thoughts for you about Jesus and his ministry. One of the things I've been thinking a lot about is was he sent to one person, or was he sent to many, or was he ministering to both at the same time? There's many examples of him being sent to the one. You had the lady at the well and the conversation he had with her, the lady caught in adultery, the lady that had a issue of blood for many years, being sent to the one to minister, to help them take the next step. And it's a very interesting story, that last story about how he felt virtue leaving his body. What is this virtue? Is it a source of power? Was there a finite amount of it? Did he, need to recharge that by communing with God? Anyway, that's an interesting story. It's kind of beside the point, but there's also many examples of how he ministered to many with his teachings, teaching in the temple, teaching the 5,000. And I would say he did both at the same time. Uh, when he was teaching the 5,000, he taught, he blessed, he healed the sick. He had spent the day teaching and healing these people in the desert. And when night approached, his disciples came and said, I think it's time to send them away to the cities so they can get food of their own and lodging. And Jesus said, no. In Mark 6:38, he said, how many loaves have ye? Go and see. And so a call went out to this large body, this large group, and only one little boy answered. And there was, in John 6:9, he says, there was a lad here which hath 5 barley loaves and 2 small fishes. But what are they among so many? So this young lad, this young boy, had prepared for this journey into the desert, which we don't know how long it took, but a day, many days, we don't know how long, but he had prepared to go into the desert. And so he brought extra food with him. Was it his intention to sell all the extra food to the crowd? I'm not sure, but he was prepared. But um, was he the only one in that crowd that was changed by Jesus's teaching to actually sacrifice everything he had, all the food that he had brought, for the masses? And there was probably actually more than 5,000 there, because they were just actually counting the men. So this call went out. This young boy answered, and he was willing to give up all that he had brought with him for the benefit of many. So whatever was said, Jesus, whatever he taught, must have really impacted this young man. The question is, why didn't anybody else bring extra stuff? Why was everybody else unprepared? And only one person was willing to give up the things that they had for the benefit of the large group. So what do we learn from this young man's sacrifice? God is actually able to take that sacrifice and multiply it many thousand times to help a large group like this. And still, this young man got what he needed. I think about this and how, if you've got sons at home that live with you. I've got 4 sons. One still lives with me, and he's always eating. He eats a breakfast, and he eats like an after breakfast, and he eats like a pre-lunch and lunch and a pre-dinner and dinner and after dinner. And that for him, it would be a huge sacrifice, to give up all of his food that he had prepared. I can hear what he would say if I had turned to him and say, hey, do you want to give up our food? And he'd be, it would take quite a change in his heart to have him sacrifice his food. So, bottom line, are we sent in our ministries to the one or to the many? And if we do it right, I think you're ministering to both at the same time. As we go throughout our days, there's many people that we talk to at work, at home, many interactions, but there's always the one that we're sent to help. As you go to Christmas parties this season, as you go to work functions, you go to family reunions, all these large gatherings, there's many people there. And I would say, go and talk to your coworkers, go and talk to the secretary and the boss and all those people you need to talk to. But then let's go and talk to the one. It's almost like you're putting on this VR headset and you're looking through this headset and getting an idea of what path would he take and who would he talk to. Go and look for the one. It'll always be the one kind of sitting alone, or the one that's goes out of place. Go and sit next to that person. Go and sit next to the single mom. Go and sit next to the person that just lost a spouse or a son, or that's having issues. See how you can help. Do what the Lord would do in your place. It's almost like you can see the path that he would take forward through your special VR goggles. Go and do it. I remember years ago when I was in a position with a church in kind of a leadership position. I was going to a morning meeting, and right across the street from the church, there was this open ditch that ran alongside the road. And for some reason, they hadn't ever piped it in and closed it up. But as I was going to this meeting, I saw a young man standing next to his car with another lady, and his car had fallen into this ditch, so it was on its side. And I thought, man, that sucks. That's terrible. And I had a thought, you need to stop. So thank goodness I parked my car in the church parking lot and walked across the street, and I talked to this guy for a few minutes. We'll call his name Troy. So as I talked to Troy, there was a lady that had stopped, and once she saw that I had stopped, she left. And I talked to him for a few minutes. I happened to have a family member that owned a towing service, so I called the service, and he was really upset. I came to find out that he had borrowed his girlfriend's car. It wasn't even his car. And he was so upset. He didn't know what was going to happen. There was a lot of damage that happened to the car. And so after church, I went home and talked to my sons. We had an extra car that one of my sons was driving. I said, what do you want to do to help this guy? He's in kind of bad shape. Doesn't have a car, has to get to work. And they said, yeah, we'll find other ways to school off with the car. So I called Troy and I said, hey, this is what we've decided as a family. You're welcome to borrow the car until you get yours repaired. And he'd found other means, so he said, thank you, but no, I've got some other things I can do. But that was kind of an interesting start to a friendship. And I found out that he had many emotional conditions. He was almost, besides going to work, about the only thing that he could do was, he had a hard time leaving the house even. And I offered some thoughts. I had told him, about what the Lord had done for me in my life and the miracles that he had performed in my life. And he could do the same thing to help him. And so I actually communicated mostly through text. Let me see if I can actually, I just want to share one of his texts. So here, this is one of the texts I captured, and he said, after I had talked about, what the Lord can do for him in his life, and he said, your message has created a myriad of emotions to rush in. I'm truly grateful to you and not worthy of your efforts. I have mourned over my loss of God. I continue to reach out to him. Sorry. Yet my efforts leaving me alone and godless. Feelings of anger, resentment, dismay, and discouragement overwhelm me. Where is my God? I'm embarrassed and ashamed to express these thoughts and feelings. I'm thankful for the influence of you and his girlfriend Heaven in his life. Sorry, I'm the person I am. I hope to be able to contact you. Anyway, there are many people out there that the Lord knows that we can touch if we'll just follow the path, minister to the one. We can definitely minister to the many, but we have a great opportunity to experience joy, happiness, and peace as we minister to the one. Thanks.